Hi, I'm Lisa Nichols, business coach and EFT tapping practitioner, and I'm here today to talk about how to do EFT tapping. Thanks so much for joining me. And in this quick video, I'm going to tell you the background of EFT tapping, and we'll actually learn tapping by doing. So first, let me tell you a little bit about EFT tapping. So tapping is a way to deal with both physical pain and emotional distress. It focuses on the meridian points in our body to restore balance to our body's energy. It draws on acupuncture, NLP, and energy medicine, and it also incorporates aspects of cognitive, somatic, and exposure therapies. So it regulates, what it does is it regulates the nervous system, which then allows the immune system to operate even better. And it calms the brain, specifically the amygdala, and boosts brain power. So there are many studies that show the effectiveness of EFT. And in some of them, they've had results like lower levels of stress hormones, like cortisol, of up to 40%, better blood pressure and heart rate, over 60% less physical pain, reduced anxiety and depression, and greater levels of happiness. What could be better than that, right? So I use EFT tapping in my business coaching because a stressed entrepreneur is not at their best. They're not at the top of their game. And if they have unprocessed trauma, it can impact their ability to make good decisions or any decision at all. It can create chaos with relationships like partners or employees or vendors. It can literally stop them from taking the actions that they need to take to grow their business. And it just makes being an entrepreneur not fun. And that's not what we want to do. We want to at least enjoy for the most part. There's always going to be times when maybe, things aren't the best, or maybe we're not into it, but the majority of the time, we should be happy that we chose to be an entrepreneur. So now I'm going to show you how you can do tapping at home. And you also can download my little cheat sheet in my member vault product. So I'll put the link down below so you can download. It's a little cheat sheet that you can use. You can keep in front of you until you no longer need it. And now we're going to learn tapping by doing it. But before we do that, let me walk through the tapping points. I do a few tapping points that other EFT practitioners don't use, so it might be a little different. And then if you haven't ever done tapping before, here's basically how it goes. We always start tapping here on the side of our hand, and this is when we say our setup statement. And the setup statement is always acknowledging the issue and accepting ourselves, no matter what the issue is, and just accepting that this is something that we have going on for us right now. So from the side of the hand, we go to the top of the head, and you can tap either hand, by the way. It doesn't matter, 2 to 3 fingers. Tap as lightly or as hard as you want. If you're really sensitive, you can even just do it just above the tapping spot. So from the top of the head, you can go to the top of the eye, which is on the eyebrow, right next to the nose. So the inner corner of the eyebrow. Then the side of the eye on the bone, under the eye on the bone, under the nose, the crease of the chin, the collarbone point, which is not on the collarbone, but right below it, where there's a little soft spot. And then I go to the bottom of the ribs. You can't really see it, I know, but just at the bottom of your ribs. Then we go under the arm, about 3 or 4 inches below the armpit, the top of the wrist, which is just below the joint with the hand, the bottom of the wrist, and then we go to the top of the head. And you don't need to remember all those because we're going to be doing tapping with them. Okay, so let's go do a tapping round. The first step, of course, is to know which issue we actually want to be tapping on. We actually want to address. Some tips for having EFT tapping be as effective as possible is to choose something that's pretty specific, and choose a specific event when something happens. So if you're like really upset about a specific vendor who is never on time, then think of a time when they were late and it caused issue in your business and you were really struggling with your feelings around that. And so in this case, what I'm going to be tapping on is pain or discomfort in our bodies. If you're like me, there's always something. There's always something going on in my body, some little something, sometimes bigger somethings. And, when we're trying to do our business and we're trying to move forward and get things done, when you don't feel great or there's some kind of back pain or something bothering you, it just gets in the way. So in this case, I have kind of some discomfort in the middle of my back. And for you, think about what it is. Like, just do a quick scan of your body. And, do you have a slight headache? Are you feeling antsy in your body? Like you need to go exercise, but you don't have the time. Maybe it's feeling inflamed or bloated or back pain or knee pain. My husband's got knee pain right now from the Peloton. So just kind of scan your body and identify what's not feeling as good as it could. And then next, think about that pain or that discomfort and how does that make you feel? It could be frustrated, irritated. You could be like, I accept it. It's just something I live with every day. It could be wishful, it could be resentful. So whatever that feeling is in your body, or from this pain in your body, just identify those feelings. And then now that you've identified your feelings, think about on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense are those feelings? So 0 being no feelings, no intensity, and 10 being highly intense. And just pick a number. Like for now, for me, like the middle of my back right now, because I've been thinking about it and getting prepared for this video is, maybe it's like at a 4 or 5. And what we do is we tap, is the aim is to get that intensity scale down to a 0. And it can sometimes take a couple of rounds of tapping. So you'll do a first round and then you'll check in and then you say, okay, 0 to 10, where am I at? Maybe it goes from a 4 or a 5 to a 2. Okay, great, there's a 2. What's still there? What am I still, what haven't I addressed quite yet? What am I still feeling about this pain or discomfort in my body? So now we'll actually do the round of tapping. And what you're going to do is you're going to follow along with me on my tap as I tap, and then repeat after me, except say what is true for you. So when I say the middle of my back and yours is a headache, then say my headache. Let's see if there's something else that I want to tell you before we get started. Let's see. There was something about the SUDS level, the intensity level. Oh, just if the intensity level goes up, don't worry about that. That's okay. It just means that things are coming up to be processed. And so again, you would just check in and, okay, mine went from a 5 to a 7. Okay, what's there? What's been brought up? And the other thing I wanted to say is, how often do you tap, or how long do you tap? And you just tap until you feel a shift, or until you have run out of things to say, or you just feel like you've come to a natural conclusion, and then you stop and check in and see where you're at on that 0 to 10 scale. Now, a lot of people get a little hung up about the wording about when they're tapping, but don't do that. Just say whatever is true for you. And you could even just say the feeling that you have. I'm so frustrated about my back pain. I'm so frustrated. This is so frustrating. I feel this frustration in my solar plexus. You could just repeat the feelings that you have, and that will work too. So, okay, so let's do the tapping and just repeat after me unless something's more true for you, and just follow along with me. And I'll just pause for a second to allow you to say what I say after each tapping point, okay? So let's start with our setup statement. It always starts with even though. Even though the middle of my back is bothering me right now, I deeply love and completely accept myself. Let's go to the top of the head. The middle of my back is hurting. Top of the eye. It is so frustrating. Side of the eye. I don't want to feel this way. Under the eye. I wish I could ignore it, but I can't. It's always there. Under the nose. I can take some aspirin, but I don't really want to. I just would rather have it not hurt. Increase of the chin. Why does my back have to hurt? The collarbone. Why can't it just feel good? Bottom of the ribs. I'm tired of my back hurting. Under the arm. It's such a pain, literally. Top of the wrist. It's so uncomfortable, frustrating, irritating. Bottom of the wrist. There's no good reason for my back to be hurting. Top of the head. This sharp pain in the middle of my back. Top of the eye. This uncomfortable feeling in the middle of my back. Side of the eye. I would feel so much better and get so much more done today if my back didn't hurt. Under the eye. I wish it didn't hurt. Under the nose. I'm ready for my back to stop hurting. On the chin. It's time for my back to stop hurting. Collarbone. I release any need to hold on to this pain. Bottom of the wrists, bottom of the ribs. I give my body permission to stop hurting. Bottom, under the arm. I allow my body to stop hurting right now. Top of the wrist. I breathe into knowing that my body can stop hurting. Bottom of the wrist. I'm grateful that my body is listening to me. Top of the head. I'm grateful my body feels good right now. So let's stop there. Just after a couple of rounds, that's how you do tapping. You could keep going until you shift things or you, like I said, you just run out of time, out of things to say. And so check in with yourself again, like on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you put that, the feelings and the pain at this point in time? And I think mine went down to a 2, and that feels better across the middle of my back. And so going forward, I would just keep tapping and kind of delve maybe a little deeper as to why my back might be hurting. But that's it. So try EFT at home. Oh, I did want to mention at the very end there, you'll notice I kind of went into some positive statements, which is called reframing. And, you know, like when I was saying, it's time for my back to stop hurting. I give my body permission to stop hurting. And reframing you can do, you don't have to, but it's kind of a nice way to wrap up some things. And sometimes it really just helps to clarify what we want versus what we don't want from the earlier tapping. But make sure that you really tap on the kind of the quote negative things before you get to your reframing, before you start talking about how you want it to be. So like I said, that's it. Do some EFT tapping at home. If you have any questions, please let me know, Lisa@tappingintoyourtrueself.com, and have a great day. Thanks.